Hello everybody. Welcome to another Barrel House Live. 4th of July, got my very plasticky, very hot, incredibly uncomfortable, but very stylish, Rocky Halloween costume robe. So that's a thing. That was a wise choice for the summer, but gonna rock that. How's everybody doing? Definitely a caffeine kind of weekend. Long weekend though, holiday weekend. Excited about that. Let me do my, hey look, we're live now, due diligence here on the Tweeter. Do my Tweeter. Tweet. Live. Now. barrelhousepodcast.com /live. Sweet. Look at that. On the internet. I guess Facebook probably deserves one too. If I was a little more rested and a little less scatterbrained, I would have had this a little more organized before I went up, but I'm not, so you all can it's like being backstage, right? Cool. All right. That's all done, taken care of. We are officially live. We are officially ready for the weekend. Ready to drink some whiskey. Maybe smoke a cigar. We're hanging out. We're hanging out tonight. I do have like an idea for a thing to go through tonight. I'm gonna see, it's summer. Cookout season, maybe a little hot out depending on where you are. I know it's cooled off here today, or like these last couple days finally, but it was super hot here. Not like it was in the unfortunate Pacific Northwest or other parts of the country, but it was very hot, you know, over 100 for a couple days here. It's cooled off a bit, but it doesn't mean you necessarily are not looking for a cool, refreshing beverage. And I've already played around with some of the mixed drinks, but we're just gonna try a few different whiskeys on the rocks and see which on the rocks whiskeys we like more. Seems like a totally reasonable fun experiment. I think I will enjoy figuring out what works well. I had some, what spurred the idea for me is I had some rare breed rye on the rocks the other day when it was real hot, and I actually may have liked it a little bit more than I do neat. It's close, but it was like surprisingly good. I think being on the rocks helped that thing out a lot. So that's what we're gonna play with. But before I do that, I am gonna bust into this. I just got this today. It's just Woodford Double Oaked, which, I mean, almost like most people have had. If you're a very whiskey person, you've probably had this. It's a really popular one. This, however, is a store pick, a barrel select from my local liquor store, and I love trying store picks. I just love trying store picks. I could really do a whole series of just comparing store picks to regular bottlings because I find the differences to be really interesting. If you've not gotten into store picks yet, it's okay, I don't blame you. But thanks, Dad. Dad likes the shirt. Thanks, Dad. This is part of a leftover from a Rocky Balboa costume from Halloween, or I think I actually bought it for 4th of July, but it was a Halloween costume I bought years ago. So this is like Woodford. The Woodford Double Oaked is Woodford Reserve. That is then so barrel aged like all whiskey, but then finished in heavily toasted barrels. I think heavily toasted, not lightly charred. I think it's heavily toasted, which is like there's like I think 5 levels of toast, and then it turns into char, and then there's 5 levels of char. So it's finished in a heavily toasted, not quite charred barrel, which gives it different flavors. A little more sweetness, a little more like fresh woodiness and not as much charred woodiness. Hey Kat, how's it going? That's good. That's definitely different than I remember double oaked. Not hugely, but it's got a little like bitter note that I don't remember. It's good though. It's good. I don't remember that bitter. It's been a while for me for double oak, to be honest with you. Maybe I'm just remembering wrong, but ooh, it is really good though. So for the on the rocks test, put some thought into this. I was thinking about this weekend. I was mulling it over in my mind. And what whiskeys would you want to pick from if you're doing like a whiskey on the rocks kind of experience? What properties in a whiskey? And I kind of wanted to stick to bourbon for this one, bourbon and rye, American categories anyway. Since it's 4th of July weekend, I'm rocking my stars and stripes here, as wrinkly as they may be. So I'm gonna stick to American whiskeys for this. So what properties in American whiskey would I want to pick from making a whiskey on the rocks panel here, right? I'm gonna want higher proof. That's a big one, right? You put it in like an 80 proof, you're gonna get washed out immediately, right? And you don't want that. You don't want like watered down whiskey hinted water, right? You want whiskey that is cold. So higher proof, bolder flavors. It is definitely from Rocky. Cat. So I figured I would start with I gotta get through this Woodford first. It's very good. I figured I would start with this Jack Daniel's single barrel proof barrel select. Same liquor store that selected this one. But this is 66.8%. This one's got some heat on it. I'm confident that'll stand up to ice. Whether or not I like it cold, we'll see. I think it's good cold though. That's funny. I've completely acclimated to that little bitter note. It's not even really there. So, got my fancy glass. Hold on. Move my bang here. I got all kinds of stuff going here. My difficult to reach into little mini fridge. Full of large rocks. Whew, that's cold. Put that on my leg. Got my jack. And see if I line this up first try with no window. I got close. My bottle cam. But I can do like, yeah, right there. Look at that. You can see the barrel house. You can see the bottle. Beautiful. All right. Let this chill a little bit. Dilute a little bit, just a little bit. And I forgot to put the link in the Discord. Hold on. All right. I mean, it's a nice-ish bottle. It's actually just a... I mean, it's just Jack, right? It's not anything crazy. Now, I'll tell you, neat. This is like brown sugar, peanut shells, and fire. It's so heavily alcohol. It's so high proof. It's like overwhelming. It's still a lot of brown sugar and peanut shell. The alcohol is way down. It's actually quite pleasant. There's a tangy bit to it. Like what is that reminding me of? Man, I can't place that. Tell you what, there's still some fire on this. Even with that ice in it, it is still got some heat. That is so high proof. I do like it though, I really do. I feel like there's like some bit of like enjoyment of the self-harm here in this with how much it burns. This is, you can really see the oil in this. You know, it's funny. This is so not accurate, but for whatever reason, that tangy note is just making me think of General Tso's chicken. but just the sauce, not the chicken, because there's no chickeny bits to this. Like General Tso's peanuts. This tastes like General Tso's peanuts. One of the weirdest tasting notes I've ever given, for sure. I mean, cat, whiskey chicken. I mean, technically, get your like bourbon barbecue sauces, right? That's kind of whiskey chicken. I'd be down for that. So, overall, that's like a B minus. B minus is high for me though with ice. I'm not a huge fan normally of whiskey on the rocks. I do it when it's hot out, whatever. Sometimes it's just too hot to be drinking hot beverages. So I do it sometimes, right? But overall, on like the whiskey scale for me, that's like a good B minus. The other one I wanted to try is this new Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Batch B521. If you are on the Patreon, I did a first sip on this. I haven't recorded an episode yet on it, but it is like the new talk of the town, so I might sneak that in closer to now than later so that I can capitalize on its recent release a little bit. But I have not had much of this yet. Really just that first sip episode and then like one more pour of it. So I'm gonna try this on the rocks. This is the lowest proof Elijah Craig Barrel Proof has been so far. It's only 59%, which is still high, I understand, but for ECBP, it's a little bit on the low side. Wow. So this is one of the things on this is it's pretty simple. It's very like three notes. They're just really well executed. But with the ice in this, the like milk chocolate just pours out of this glass. That is so chocolatey. Yeah, that's crazy. That almost tastes like a hot, I mean, it's not hot, but it almost tastes like a hot chocolate with a little booze in it that has been refrigerated to eating cold. But like that kind of milky chocolatey sweetness with some booze in it. Man, that's good. I can already, though, feel the flavors diluting. Obviously, the ice is already partially melted, so it's going to melt a little quicker or whatever, but you would probably have to drink this pretty quick. If it was real hot out, I think I would drink it pretty quick. Otherwise, I think the ice would beat it. I don't know how long this would hold up. But is it really a bad thing to have to power through a whiskey? Is it really the end of the world to like push your luck on it a little bit? Also, it's 4th of July weekend. What's a better weekend to push through a whiskey a little on the quick side, right? I don't think there are many. I don't think there are many weekends better for it. Jeff, my man, dude, I'm telling you, this is so chocolatey. It is definitely like booze, like a chocolatey drink with booze in it. Interesting is that neat, there was a lot of cherry, but with the ice in it, the cherry is almost gone. I don't really even notice it. How you been, Jeff? It's been a little bit. Oh, also 4th of July special. If enough of you like this video, like this stream, I will do a large pour old tub on the rocks. I'm gonna need at least like 5 to 10 likes in that range, though. For that to happen, that's a pretty steep ask. That's gonna have to go with the cigar so that I can blow it out of my mouth with smoke and fire. That is really good. What are you drinking, Jeff? It's a good night to be having some cocktails. It is slightly waxy, the chocolate. Slightly. Oh man, fresh mint. Moscow Mule with fresh mint. Actually, any minty cocktail with fresh mint is next level. Except for mint juleps, which I really don't like, and I can't really say why. I just know I hate them. I just can't do them. Or maybe I just haven't had the right one. It's possible I just haven't had the right mint julep. Oh, I didn't do this. This bottle definitely deserves some time here on the bottle cam. And I blew it, so we're gonna give it some time while I recuperate. Fresh mint, like fresh. I don't even mean like going to the grocery store and buying fresh mint. Like freshly picked fresh mint will totally elevate a mixed drink. Like next level. Also good in lemonade. If you're into that kind of thing. Where is, oh, there it is. So I mentioned at the start here, that the thing that gave me the idea for this was that I was reading a little bit. I was reading post office Bukowski thing, and it was super hot, and I wanted some whiskey because he kept talking about whiskey in the book, but it was too hot, so I poured some rare breed rye, dropped the cube in it, dropped the rock in that bad boy, and I actually liked it more, or close to, maybe not quite more, at least as much, ooh, excuse me, hiccups, at least as much as neat. Which is unusual for me because there are very few whiskeys that I even really like. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof B521 on the rocks. B+. I'm gonna say B+ because it diluted quickly. The flavors dissipated quickly. Initial flavor, like an A, solid A. Really liked it. But it got watery kind of fast, so B. I think it's solid B. But to this, I think this is. Oh, we got a Mike Rondo in here. Look at this. Mike, we're testing out a bunch of whiskeys on the rocks to see which one works better for the summer. So like I said, I was reading that Charles Bukowski book. He kept talking about whiskey as suddenly I need to listen to Living in America. Go ahead, just play this simultaneously. Don't walk away. So he kept talking about whiskey in the book, and I was like, man, I gotta have some whiskey. So I came down, it was super hot. I'm gonna have it on the rocks because it's too hot for neat. I poured this rare breed rye, and I was shocked at how much it changed in a positive way. So I started thinking about, well, I wonder what other ones will, so that's why we're here today. Yo, dude, Bukowski is like the drunk of all drunks. I really like his books, problematic as they may be. There's something about the cadence in which that he writes in, like the cadence, the thought patterns he writes in, that is, what's the word I'm looking for? Everybody right now is like, I didn't come here for philosophy and literature, I came here for whiskey. But no, there's something about the cadence he writes in that is very like appealing and captivating. It's very easy to read. You blow right through. And while some of the stories he tells are like, yikes, in the content, the thoughts, the conclusions he draws from his life experiences are really something that I really like that stuff. Also, his poetry is pretty solid too. Like his novels and his poetry, both good. Kind of raw, but in a appealing way. So, speaking of mint, this gets very minty. Like, very minty on the rocks. Gets sweeter. The spices are more... this is gonna make no sense. I was about to say this and it makes no sense. It makes sense in my head and in my mouth, but when you hear it, you're gonna think, what the fuck does that mean? The spices are more pronounced, like the rye spices are more pronounced, but not as strong. Does that make sense to anybody besides me? Probably not. Like they're easier to, you get more room. They're easier to separate what spices you're tasting, but the flavors themselves are less overpowering. It's probably easier to separate them because they're dialed back a little bit instead of all overwhelming. That probably makes a little bit of sense. Maybe. Oh, no worries, Mike. Dude, life happens. Well, you still good for whatever week? You said the 16th, right? You still good for the 16th? Because I'm going to promote the hell out of it if you are. 16th. You're still good for the 16th? I'm going to start promoting it. And then you're going to look like a jerk publicly if you bail again. Excellent. I'm going to have a bottle of that local whiskey I keep telling you about for you to bring home with you, by the way. See that, Mike? You're gonna lose a Patreon. A Patreon? A patron? Man, I struggle with that, and I shouldn't. But you're gonna lose a patron if you don't. Oh. 16. Speaking of that local distillery, man, this rare breed rye. Sorry, I just got distracted. Man, I am You can tell I'm tired, and that the overtime I'm working has got me a little beat up because I am so tangenty. I cannot stay on subject at all here. This becomes so easily sippable and ignorable in a pleasant way on the rocks. This is like a B+. I think this is the best one so far on the rocks for sure. Like consistently through the whole thing. That local distillery just announced a 5-year-old Madeira cask finished bourbon that you can only buy at the distillery, and I am pretty confident I'm gonna head up tomorrow to pick up a bottle of that, because that sounds super good. Oh dude, everything was hard for us all this week. I'm sure it was stupid hot for you this week too, Mike, for a few days. I don't know, did you guys get the heat wave in the Chicago area, Jeff? I thought I was gonna die. I thought I was gonna die in that heat. I didn't think I could handle it. I was really having a hard time. Oh, let me be fair here. Are you piping in the shed right now, Mike? Look, paid to write or not, it was a week. We all fumbled a lot this week. This is that local distillery, Mike. This is their cask strength. I've got a bottle of their regular Batchers, whatever the hell they call it, Batchers Select, that you're gonna bring home with you when you come here. This is a really good cask strength whiskey. This is phenomenal. Probably a hair overpriced, but you're supporting a small, local, independent distillery. I think that's worth it. Wow. Huh. So the fruity notes that I usually get in this dialed way down. The barrel tannins way up, but so is the sweetness. It's good still, but it's a totally different whiskey. We had like 103, 104, 105 kind of weather for like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then yesterday it was like 90 and it rained. And today it was like 80 flat, 79, 80. And it felt so good to be in the 80s. It was almost cold. It was almost cold. Felt almost cold. It was fantastic. Feels like the fall now. Actually, this moment, it feels as hot as it did earlier this week because this is the cheapest plasticky Halloween robe ever made, and I am sweating like a pig in this thing. I'm dying. So this is 61%. This is their 3-ish year old. Batch 10, bottle 31. They also have... This is sourced though. They distilled this. This is from them. This is sourced from MGP, I think, based on the little information I could find. But it is aged by them. So, clink, clink. I almost bought a bottle of that, shit, I can never remember that distillery that's out by you, Mike. What's it called? It's like Battle Cry. No, that's the whiskey. Shit, what's the distillery? Well, you'll tell me when you see this. Sons of Liberty, yeah, I saw a bottle of that on the shelf here. I almost bought it. Just curious. And I bought that Woodford instead because I'm a sucker for some Woodford. I can't. It's so simple, but it's so good. Oh, you don't need to bring anything, but if you do, I'll drink it. There's also the local place. So it's a good. So Jeff says. So Jeff makes a great joke here. That's also a fantastic question. I don't know if he meant it to be a really great question, but it actually is a great question. He says, "Do whiskey distilleries do age accelerations like the Kim and Owens, or is 3 years actually 3 years?" In this case, 3 years is actually 3 years, but there are distilleries playing with accelerated aging in like crazy ways. Like everything from big metal vats that they, instead of putting in a barrel, they put big metal vats and then filling it with charred oak and constantly agitating it so that there's a lot more surface area to whiskey, and all the way up to what I think is the most interesting is either the big vat full of wood or big barrels full of whiskey, then ultrasonically agitated the whole time to try to accelerate it. The thing is, so far, all of them kind of failed experiments. So two things happen when whiskey ages. And I'm gonna drink this water, pour this whiskey, and we're gonna dig into why it's not working. God, water. This robe is really hot. Water has not tasted that good in a while. I got a fan right here blowing on me. I'm dying. I'm also gonna light that cigar after I take this sip. I don't care if the rest of this experiment is tainted. I'm ready. Okay, so the thing is, two things happen as whiskey ages. There is... I can't take it off, Mike. It's the 4th of July. This is a theme here, and a performer suffers for the quality of the product. You understand that, Mike? You should know. Oh, man. Anyway, two things happen as whiskey ages. The first is I have the hat. I couldn't find it. I have the hat and I couldn't find it. This was I had to look at the hood. This was a Halloween costume. First, the whiskey interacts with the barrel as it heats up and cools off. It expands into the wood and it contracts back out of the wood, and chemical reactions happen with the char and the sugars in the wood, and that's where a lot of the flavor and color come from. The other thing is, as the whiskey ages, I'm gonna melt now. Over time, certain flavors, certain chemicals dissipate into the wood. Certain chemicals macerate from the wood. And so while you can, with those rapid aging experiments so far, they've been able to get the wood influence out of the wood faster. So that ultrasonic and stuff, you get the vanillas and the caramels out of the wood much faster. But you still get some like wet dog from the tails in the whiskey and those green grassy notes that youth in whiskey usually is related to. Those don't have a chance to mature their way out during the rapid aging. It takes real time for that, and they've not found a way to push the limits on that. So there is rapid aging stuff going on. It's just not really complete. You can get a better product faster, but you can't. There's no replacement for real time invested. See, this got worse. This got genuinely worse on the rocks. This is real good. Neat. This is one note on the rocks. This is just barrel. Dude, I'm happy you learn. I'm happy to teach you something, Jeff. I had a friend over recently drinking some whiskey and talking about it, and I had to take the hood off. I couldn't do it. I was starting to pour. The reason the podcast exists, one of my favorite things ever is being able to have a conversation about whiskey with somebody and having them walk away knowing more. I don't know why I love it so much. I can't help it. I just love it. All right. This one, not the one. Ain't the one. So far, it's still that B521 and the rare breed really taking it over. Let's rinse this out. I wanted to try, even though it's not super high proof, I wanted to try Peerless. I'm curious because to my taste, so this is 109 proof. It's like 54 point something, 54.65%. To my taste, I really like this, but after like one pour, I can't do it. It's too sweet. Now I'm curious if the ice will help or hurt that. if it'll water down that sweetness or if it'll accent that sweetness in a way that I'm not gonna love. We're gonna find out here in a second though. Oh man, I was really hoping it would just stop in front of the camera and I would feel awesome. Like that. Label even pointing right. Call it. That's gonna be a highlight. I'm gonna highlight that. It's kind of bad. I'm gonna let it, it's not that cold yet either. I'm gonna let it get colder. It got weirdly creamy. It's still very, very sweet. And a little bitter. But it got weirdly creamy. Huh. That almost tastes dairy-like. It's so creamy. Huh. I don't like that. That's weird. If y'all can manufacture 3 more likes, I'll do Old Tub on the Rocks. Yeah, Mike with the cow emoji. Bro, yikes on that one. Yikes on that one. I'm gonna sacrifice the sanctity of the rest of these pours because I just keep glancing over at this thing and I'm ready for it. This is a this is out of one of my cigar subscriptions here. This is a Villager. I can't read that in this light. Sandoro, Colorado. Smells nice. Does smell good. Mike, you gonna put down the pipe for a minute when you come visit and have a cigar, or are you gonna bring the pipe because cigars are beneath you now? I was thinking about, I don't know how you feel about this. If it's nice, trying to set this up outside when you come. That might be difficult though. I don't know. I wonder what smoking mint would be like. I bet it would be terrible. Because you have to dry it first, right? Like a lot. Let's get this Old Tub out of it, or not Old Tub. Here. I'm thinking about Old Tub. I am actively trying to will you all to like this video enough for me to suffer through some Old Tub. Yeah, I think it would probably be, you know, I would try it. I would certainly try it. Oh man, I had a wild thought today. I tweeted it because it's what you do with your thoughts now. You tweet them. I was on one of, I think it was Tinder, one of the dating apps, and there's just so many. There's so many profiles that are just like only looking for a plug, leaf emoji, smoke emoji, like just trying to find someone to supply weed. Not my bag. That's a hard swipe left. But now that weed is legal here, I wonder, like, my thought is, just wonder how much those apps see a like active user decline when weed legalizes. I wonder if they can like follow legal weed by active user declines. I bet you they can. I write the important ones down, actually, also in a journal. But the dumb ones like that totally go on Twitter. Twitter is where dumb thoughts go. I'm not sure which. So weed got legal here yesterday. It's like in the news now, which is why I was thinking about it. It became a thing yesterday. So I don't even know if you can buy it. I've never done the weed. So it really makes no difference to me whatsoever, but I imagine it's like a big change for a lot of people. I don't know where you can. I don't know. Like Mass has been legal for a while up north from us, so I'm sure it's just like go up there and buy it, and now you don't have to worry about getting caught with it. But I imagine soon-ish it'll just be like around. You just be able to go like buy it at places, dispensaries and whatnot. Will be all over the place here, but it was yesterday that it went legal, so I don't think that's gonna be for a little bit. This is peppery. This is a peppery smoke. I think I like it though. It's a little cardboard. It's a little cardboardy. Yeah, I'm way more into whiskey, and if it ever becomes like federally legal and it's not a thing where it's like still gotta pass it for your job and still gotta pass drug tests for your, like if it ever becomes like just just alcohol level legal, I might try a gummy maybe when I get older or whatever, but I don't know, I don't have the interest now. It's I just don't see I don't know. It doesn't appeal to me for whatever reason. It never did, it's why I never tried it. It's just I don't see the appeal. I mean, I get that for a lot of people it's a big deal. It's a big part of their life, but to me it's just maybe it doesn't appeal to me because I haven't tried it. I don't know. I can't tell you, but it's not for me. I don't know. I couldn't care less. I really hate the smell. It smells like a skunk to me. I really hate the smell. Maybe that's the reason why it never did it for me. What am I gonna put in this glass? I kind of want to try the Michter's rye, the barrel strength rye, but that's also like, I'm not gonna do that. That's too expensive of a bottle to be like dumping on ice, probably ruining. You know what I will do? I tried the B521 here. Fun fact, the skunk smell makes everybody want to gag and puke. I'm gonna try the A121. I got 2 bottles of the A121. So let's see what we can do with this. That's a healthy pour. My bad. I hope that's good. Well, if you tell me that the skunk smell makes you gag and want to puke, and then say that Stinkor is your favorite Motu character, that tells me you like facing your fears. Oh, that is excellent. Still better than neat, but that really is good. Mike, look at how much... I'm gonna show Mike my Elijah Craig barrel proof collection. Just the barrel proof. Not all Elijah Craigs, just the barrel proofs. Just the fancy ones that are hard to find. I like facing my fears when it's appropriate, but you can fuck off with snakes, bro. I'm not interested. You can tell I have the fan on to combat my hotness because the smoke is like blasting away from me. I'm gonna tell you, the Elijah Craigs this year, the A121 was excellent. The B521, I think, right as good. In the past, they've been a little uneven. And, I mean, still great. They've all been great, but they've been a little uneven. And that tells me that the C921, when it drops, is going to be so good. And then it's got competition this year. I hear the Russell's Reserve 13 is like a real heavy hitter in the barrel proof bourbon world. I haven't seen it yet. I probably won't see it around here, to be honest with you. I wish I would. But dude, the more stuff in this lane, the better. This stuff is so good. Mike says nothing can combat my hotness. I don't know about that, bro. It's hot, but there's air conditioning, and I'm not nearly as pretty as you think I am. Especially not now, dude. I look so fucking... Look at my eyes. I look so tired. Good lord. I look like shit. I wonder why that is. So this is doing the same thing. Oh yeah, dude, the bags under my eyes need a separate flight, dude. This is doing the same thing that the B521 did. It's watering down much faster than the Jack did and the rare breed. I don't know why that is. It's so dense. So densely flavored, neat. I don't know why that is. You would think just the proof. I mean, this is the A121 is, where is it? 62%. You would think that is enough proof to hold up to ice without faltering, but it's thinning out quick. I don't know why that is. There is some science to that. I just don't know what it is, but there is certainly some science to it. All right, brother. Take care. I don't know how much longer I'll be on. It's the time of day is catching up with me. You can tell by my eyes. All right, I gotta stack these back up. What do we got here? B520, A121, A121, B521. I don't know if you're still here, Jeff. If you're still here, have you gotten into any whiskey lately? I know the last time we talked, I think you had just checked out some Old Forester, if I remember correctly. It was a while ago. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I wish it was a little bit. I wish that lingered a little bit longer. Slightly disappointing how quickly that waters down. Hey, but like I said, there's nothing wrong with drinking your whiskey quickly, right? It's a recipe for a good time. All right. This is officially whiskey flavored water. What else do I have that is cask strength or higher proof that I think will hold up nicely? I know 1792 does okay, the full proof, but it does become pretty too notey. But I've had a lot of that on the Rockfest. Oh, it's not cask strength, but I'm curious. Ugh. This one will do. This is that Thomas S. Moore. This is the Cabernet Sauvignon cask. This is that one I had on the stream a while back. That instead of finishing for a number of months in uh, casks, they finished it for a number of years. I'm curious, and it's really weird. Sort of in a not great way, but a very interesting way, to be sure. I'm curious how this does on the rocks. It's lower proof. It's around, what's it, like around 50, 47. We'll juice the cork there. Curious how that heavily finished influence holds up in the ice. That actually just smells like a glass of wine. That's fucked up. That smells like a glass of wine. It's not gonna taste like a glass of wine, trust me. Okay, stay with me. I think I like it. My face may have said otherwise because it was initially shocking, but I'm gonna let it sit for another second and water down some more. It's it got a little sweeter and a little less tannic, but man, did it get super nutty. A little bitter. I have just a ton of thoughts about that. All over the board. I think more positive than negative. I don't know. I think it's getting better. Boy, I don't know how to feel about that. I admittedly, the stogie, not the best for science here, but still. I've got complicated feelings, Cat. I'm a complicated man. I'm a man with feelings and thoughts. So the best way I could put it is added flavors I really like that I did not get out of this neat. For sure. It's more approachable. That like really heavy tanniny bitterness that was in this neat has dissipated. The whiskey flavors are coming up a little bit. The wine flavors are mellowing. There's more of them, but they're not as strong. But it also elevated a couple of weird fringe flavors that I didn't pick up so much neat that I really don't like. And so I can't tell if I like this more or not. I can't. Maybe the right answer is I like it just as much but different. There is some real pleasant flavors in that though. Neat, there was very little that I liked in it. It wasn't bad. Everything was just, that's a good way to put it. Neat on this, everything was just okay. Across the board, it was all fine. On the rocks though, cold, there are some bits that are really good and some flavors that are not good. And I think it probably averages out to just okay, but it's definitely different. Oh. Is there anything that you've seen me drink before that you would like to see me try on the rocks before I just pour some more of that Woodford and enjoy it with the cigar? Anybody? Anything in the bar? Or actually, put it this way. If you're not quite sure what I might have here, is there anything you would like to see me try? And I will pick the closest thing I have to it if you want to see something on the rocks. I know I stuck to American stuff for the stream so far, but open anything. You want to see me try a smoky Scotch, an Irish, another bourbon, a rye, anything. I got that couple of Texas whiskeys. You give me a thing. Oh, the blue bottle? This is this one right here, Cat. This is Brooklotic, the classic Lottie. This is an unpeated Isla. Ooh, and look at how the color of that bottle fucked up the white balance in that webcam. I've never had this on the rocks. This is, I'll try it. It's a really flavorful, really potent Isla Scotch that is just not smoky. It's all of the things from, it's all of the flavors you see in like Octomore from the same distillery, just minus the smoke. But it maintains a really pleasant intensity. My coworker Bernie, who I've mentioned before, loves this stuff. This is the first whiskey he got a flavor he could identify separately from. He picked up vanilla, like I said with Reg. Vanilla is often the first flavor people can pull from a whiskey. Oh, I gotta put that in front of the camera while I'm drinking it, right? That's how this works. That's how this camera works. That's the point of this thing. Vanilla is one of the first flavors people can pull because it's a really distinct flavor. Right? A lot of flavors. Apple tends to be a little bit harder to pull. Orange peel tends to be a little bit harder. Like the oilier, heavier flavors tend to be a little bit harder to pull, to identify separately. Vanilla stands out a lot. Vanilla, a lot of people pull vanilla first. Kat, you still liking that bottle you bought? I can't remember which one it was. It was the McClellan's, right? McClellan's Isla? Huh. What does that taste like? That tastes like something. Good, I'm glad. When you finish that, I'll give you like the next step up in Isla to buy. And I'm gonna keep pushing you until you are just as hooked to smoke as I am. That tastes so familiar. Like something that's not that. Not whiskey at all, actually. Fuck, what is it? What is it? I'm gonna add more to combat dilution here because I am perplexed by the familiarity of that. As I drop a couple of very long words, pretending I am smart when I am not. I've been preparing some samples to send out for Josh. No one pages Josh. There's a video about that that's gonna go up. I think you all will like how I prepared them. Kat, if you want, you can DM me on Discord, or Instagram, whatever, a good shipping address for you, and maybe I'll arrange a couple samples of some smoky shit for you to try. Maybe. If I can, if you want. I'm not gonna force it on you. What is that? First, it's delicious. It's really good. It's a little thin with the ice in it, but it's a very different whiskey than it is neat. What is that? Oh my god, it tastes like something I can't place. What is that? I'm having a real like sensory deja vu with this, but I just can't. I need water. Maybe water will help me. It just might be a while. I'm totally gonna send you some stuff if you send me your address, but it might be a month or two. I've got a lot of. So I've been arranging guest for the show. Mike is going to be on the next live stream. But he's going to be here. But I'm trying to line up some guests virtually coming up. And I'm trying to arrange some samples for them so we can drink the same stuff when we're on stream. So it might be after that, but you will get some samples, my friend. You know what it is? This is gonna sound crazy, probably, to a lot of you. There is a cola, like a Coca-Cola thing going on here. That's what it is. It's not as sweet. It's like a Coca-Cola with like 10% of the sugar. That's what it is. Huh. That's strange because there's like no anise to this. Neat. Huh. That's very... That's definitely something. That's a thing. I do like this better neat. Although it's a smaller gap, Cat. It's I'm gonna say I like this 20% better neat. But on like 100-degree summer day, I would totally go to this on the rocks again, for sure. What else? You got another request, Kat? Anything else you want to know what it tastes like on the rocks? I mean, there's like a bunch of people in here, but you're the only one talking, Kat, so it's pretty much you and me. Anything you want to see tried on the rocks. You tell me. Give anything. Whether you, even if you just want to say a flavor profile or a whiskey you've heard of, I'll get the closest thing I have to it. Where are we at? 138. Take your time, Kat. I'm gonna smoke this cigar and relax while you decide what the next thing I drink is. Gonna be honest, the first third of this stogie, better than the second. It was peppery and sort of complex in the first third. It's getting kind of maybe this is the hiccups. My bad. Maybe the whiskey is overpowering the second third, but it's getting very plain. Not bad, but plain. little white pepper. It's like white pepper, cream, and cardboard. In the second third here, not stellar, not bad, but not stellar. Bottom shelf next to the red and white label. This one, the Sagamore Double Oak. This is the one you're talking about, Kat? Is that the bottle you are referring to? It's good. I'm curious. This is great, neat, but it's lower proof. It's like 40. Where's the proof on this? 48. It's not that low. It's low-ish. My prediction. This is going to get. I've not had this on the rocks. This is a straight prediction. This will get slightly tannic and kind of empty, thin. Slightly tannic and thin on the rocks. It's my guess. What I would love is this has some great sweet fruity notes in it, neat. I would love if those got turned up till 11, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I just don't. Reminder, if 3 of you who are viewing, click that thumbs up button, I will do Old Tub on the rocks. Which, fuck me, I don't know. I love the engagement, but also I don't want to have Old Tub on the rocks, so I am on the fence on if I'm rooting for that or not. Just 3 more of you though, so you could make that decision for me. I will tell you, on the nose, it's gotten very sweet, but also very herbal. It's grassy. Slightly minty. A little bit of I'm gonna say dirt, but I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't know a better word. Right now, I can't think of a better word. It's hard to nose a whiskey in this glass, by the way. Glass is not great for it. My ice cubes don't fit in a Glen. There is a really nice. What is that? I want to say a brown note. I'm thinking of like a brown sugar or a caramel. There's a really nice richness coming through. All right, let's sip it. So the tannins, the bitter tannic notes, definitely coming through. There's a metric fuck ton of brown sugar. And then it is, besides that, it is just all green notes. Actually, unfortunately, so on the palate, it's fantastic. A little tannic, which I kind of like a little bit of tannic. Yo, what up, Ray? How you doing, brother? On the palate, it's fantastic. Wood tannins in a pleasant way, brown sugar, vanilla, mint, basil maybe. But on the finish, that dill note that I don't get from this at all neat, and that I really hate, is dominant as fuck on the finish. It's all dill on the finish. Oof, man, too much dill. I missed you today, Ray. I had no one to blow kisses at work. Josh wouldn't have it. You weren't there. Bro, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I mean, you know you know. Yeah, this is definitely better neat. It's good. It's great. I would actually call it great until the finish kicks in. The finish on this, on the rocks, is bad. It's genuinely bad on the finish. To be a pretty solid dump glass. All right, Ray, Cat, what's the next bottle I'm trying on the rocks? You tell me. Oh, we hit it. Fuck me. We hit old tub. We hit the old tub threshold. God damn it. I asked for it. Ooh, hiccup. I asked for it, right? I'm gonna pour some old tub on the rocks. In the meantime, pick a whiskey or a flavor profile that's not old tub, and I will pick the closest thing to it. If it's not in sight, and you're just guessing randomly, I will pick the closest thing to it and try that on the rocks. I'm gonna be honest. I already kind of regret the deal I made with the old tub. We did leave early today, by the way, Ray. We got out early, which was nice. But any bottle behind me, Ray, or if you have ever heard of a whiskey you want me to try, I'll pick something close. Or if you want pick a profile like super smoky or super caramel or super appley, whatever. I'll try the closest thing I have. I have whiskey all over here. I mean, I can actually, besides behind me, I also have all of these and those on the wall. So if you want to just pick something, anything, I'll find something close that meets whatever you picked. What the fuck? Bro, I have a lot of whiskey. I don't know if you know this, but I have a lot of whiskey. I've got it like... How did I bend this fucking thing so much? There you go. I got like 130 bottles. All right, I gotta do the old tub first. Fuck me. Why do I make these deals? You know what's fucked up is that I can recognize the old tub from the top part of the bottle, just that now. Because I've done this enough to know what my doom looks like. I'm hoping that the cigar and the ice work heavily in my favor on this one. I did say it was going to be a healthy pour too, and that I would drink the whole thing. So that's what we're going to do. And so that you all can see, that is the old tub pour that I said I would drink. And I will drink that. Fuck me. Ray says caramel. Pick a second flavor, Ray. I'm gonna do caramel and blank. Orange, caramel and apple, caramel and oak, caramel and smoke, caramel and cherry, caramel and molasses, caramel, and I'm trying to narrow this down. Something that you would be super curious at. Caramel and baking spices, caramel and vanilla. Like, where are we at? Where are we at on this? Caramel and sour. Oh, fuck. I'm gonna break my promise. I don't think I can drink that much old tub. Oh my god. It's so much worse. It's so much worse on the rocks. Holy shit. Oh. Oh my god, that's gross. Whew. I have to be fair. This is not bad whiskey. This has a distinct flavor profile that a lot of people like, and for some reason just pushes every vomit button in my body. I don't know what it is with this whiskey. There's something in this bottle that immediately triggers like every spit it out button in my body. I'll give this a couple more sips. I made a promise. I'm not gonna take one sip and dump this, but I'm not drinking that much. I can't do it. I'm sorry, I can't do it. Oh, I'm afraid to drink it again. I have like anxiety about what's in this. Oh my god, there's something in the... I'll say this. On the nose, this is actually brilliant on the rocks. It's all apples and cherry on the nose. The cigar might be fucking with me, but genuinely right now, all apples and cherry. I think that's gonna be it for the old tub on the rocks. Oh man, I need some water. I appreciate your vote of confidence, Ted. Oh my god, that's so bad. That's so bad. Holy shit, that's bad. Yeah, that's it. I'm not doing that again. I'm not doing that again. I almost puked that up. Mom, I genuinely didn't think you'd be able to make it. Thank you. Yeah, that was foul. But that is so much worse on the rocks than it is straight. And it's bad straight. Oh my god. Holy cow. All right, Ray, here you go. Sour. This is Bunnahabhain 12. I gotta see if I can sneak this out by the... All right, this is gonna be a two-step process. I gotta sneak it out. This is the sour and caramel. This is a little more vanilla than caramel, but there's some caramel to this. And there's a lot of sour. This is Bunnahabhain 12. This is another unpeated Isla. It's a really good bottle. I have a... yeah, you picked the absolute wrong time to jump in, Mom. It's been great up until I made a deal. I said I would pour a healthy pour of Old Tub on the rocks if I got likes past a certain threshold. I hit the threshold. I felt obligated. Man, that Old Tub on the rocks was way worse than I ever anticipated. So this is Ray picked caramel and sour for the flavor profile to try. Maybe the last or second to last, somewhere in there. On the rocks profile here, and this is the one. Bunnahabhain is, they make a peated one. It's like Bunnahabhain Deutschek or something like that. I haven't had it. It's on the long list of ones that I would love to find around here, but haven't yet. But this is a really great unpeated example of unpeated Isla. It's got all that like deep, fruity, floral complexity you usually get in Isla, but with this like sour note that it's a little bit, it's almost like taking the classic latte, the Bruichladdich classic latte, turning down the volume a little bit and adding a touch of alum. You know, the sour powder that's on like Sour Patch Kids. Um, it's really good though. I'm going to tell you on the nose with I've never had this in the rocks before. On the nose, the sour is turned way up. Way up. It's real sour on the nose. I'm getting like a caramel apple. Sour caramel apple. There's usually a vanilla E and I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to think back to this neat. I might actually just take. I have a unused blend here. I might pour just a touch in here because there's. I'm struggling to remember what this. It's been a little bit for me for this one. Just a touch. Oh, that's so different. That's so different. This is so much sweeter. It's still sour, but it's so much sweeter. It's much more caramel and vanilla. The cereal malty notes in this neat are strong, and in this on the rocks, invisible. I'll taste compare them. What's the proof on this? This is low proof, isn't it? 46. It's not that low. Let's try this. Add a little more. The nose got real interesting with ice in it. The palate disappeared. It is almost just like peppery water. There's a little bit of sour. Just a hint. That's a little bit of a bummer. I would not recommend this one on the rocks. With the ice in it, Ray, the caramel is non-existent. On neat, it's relatively strong. The ice killed it. This really got buried in the ice. That's it. I feel like 55%. Not always, but reliably anyway, 50-55% tends to be where above that, ice does not ruin a whiskey. Below that, ice kind of fucks up a whiskey. If I'm thinking, I already did the whiskeys on top of my head that are very caramelly and high proof. What else might I have? I'm trying to think of one that's caramel and high proof for you, Ray, that I haven't already done tonight. I mean, I know you missed a couple, but I don't want to retread ground. Too much. Caramel. Oh, I actually have one that's right in that like 50% range that I think it won't be sour. It'll be caramel and shit. I think it's caramel and cinnamon, but it's still caramel. So, oh boy, I don't know if I can reach this. I don't know if I can reach this from here. I'm gonna do the awkward mega stretch here. Y'all are gonna have to wait 3 seconds while I run around the bar here. All right. And I'm hooked back up and we're good. So this is Murray Hill Club whiskey. I've not done an episode on this yet. I really should though. I have done an episode on the Joseph Magnus triple cask finished, and this is the same distillery. They are currently just sourcing whiskey. Well, I should rephrase that. They're currently only selling sourced whiskey. They are currently distilling and aging their own, but it has not gotten old enough to be sold yet. This Murray Hill Club is a blended bourbon. It's not straight. It's a few different ages, but all sourced. And this is great bourbon. This is listen, for $100 a bottle, it should be. And I'm gonna be honest, if I was going to the store right now to spend $100 on a bottle of Joseph Magnus whiskey, I would absolutely buy the triple cask. That's this one here, that I can definitely reach. Although just barely. There's this one here. And Ray, by the way, this is when Josh was here and I did a tasting with him. This was his favorite. He took a picture of this one so he could buy it. That's how much I like this one. This is, and by the way, I am so sad that's all that's left. If this was like 70 or 80 instead of 100, I would have 2 bottles of it here. But just expensive enough that I just can't justify buying another bottle, though I really want one because it's so good. The Murray Hill Club is very good. It's not quite as good. The webcam cannot pick up that label. No, the liquor store near me has 8 or 10 bottles. It comes out in waves. Like they release it and it's everywhere, and then it disappears for like 4 or 5 months, and then they release it and it's everywhere. Both these bottles, actually. This has a really great impact from being finished, and so what they do with this is these start as the same bourbon, and then they take basically this bourbon and they split it into thirds, and a third of it finishes in ex Oloroso sherry casks, a third of it finishes in Pedro Jimenez sherry casks, and a third of it finishes in ex cognac casks. Then they blend those thirds back together and bottle it, and you get this really complex, slightly fruity, dark chocolatey, orange, peely, oily whiskey out of this. This is the Murray Hill Club is a fantastic bourbon, but I think it gets so much out of that finishing that it really is hard to justify buying this over that. This is, I believe, both of these roughly 10-year-old MGP sourced bourbon. Let's let that sit with the ice for a minute. I just thought about the old tub and got the shivers. That was a bad experience. All right, that's probably enough. The caramel definitely turned up. The vanilla, I don't know if it's the cigar or the ice, but the vanilla is way down. Pretty heavy on the cinnamon. It's like, all right, so imagine taking, on the rocks anyway, if I say wood tannins, do y'all know what wood tannins taste like? Does that mean anything to you guys? All right, so Ray says no. All right, wood tannins. Ray, you ever had? Do you drink wine ever, Ray? You ever had wine, Ray? Like red wines, specifically. Or not enough to know what I'm not enough to like call back to. Cass says nope too. All right, so wood tannins. If you think to a whiskey, anything barrel aged, a whiskey, a red wine, occasionally a white wine, wood tannins are that like bitter, dry. Typically, when you taste wood tannins, it feels dry in the mouth. Almost like it's sucking the moisture from your mouth. A little bit of bitter. I'm trying to think of something really universal that would click. Bitter like a Here's a good example. When was the last time somebody put a tongue depressor in your mouth? Okay, Ray knows what I'm talking about. Like when you put a tongue depressor on your tongue and your mouth feels like the moisture is sapped out of it. You get that little bit of bitter dryness from the wood and it's a little acidic, right? That like tongue depressor, that is that wood tannin-y bit. And that by itself is unpleasant, but when mixed properly with the right flavors, it's actually a nice balance. The wood tannins have definitely come up in this, although I will say it's mostly in the finish. The sweetness is down from where it is neat, although it's still pretty sweet. It's thinned out some. When I say sweetness, it's mostly, the sweetness in this is mostly brown sugar, caramel, stewed apples, but it's thinned out some. There's what is that? There's a saltiness to this, although it's vague. It's like it's not heavily salted, but you can experience a salt in the outside edges. I don't know if it would technically count as a cocktail or not, but I think like 2 drops of orange bitters in this on the rocks would be stellar. It's just slightly missing something. It's great neat, but on the rocks it's just a little bit thin. I think a couple drops of like an orange bitters or maybe even a chocolate bitters, something with a little character to it, would really transform this a lot. Oh, there's a weird lingering finish. This is gonna sound crazy, but I'm gonna say seaweed. I'm getting a hint of seaweed on the end of that finish. Is this Rapture? This is Rapture. I love this song. I'm gonna turn this song up a little bit. Not too much, but a little bit. Yeah, bro. There's a little bit of seaweed on the finish on this. Not like right out of the ocean, like seaweed wrap when you get sushi and there's that seaweed paper. Seaweed paper. That's what it reminds me of. Seaweed paper, not straight seaweed. All right. That's enough of that one. I can't think of another bottle here to try. I mean, I could try any of these, but I can't think of another bottle that would be very interesting to try on the rocks. Unless one of you has a request, I might just pour a little Woodford and smoke a little more of the cigar before we head out. Red P. Oh, the Powers? This one, Ray? Powers Gold Label? That's gonna be the Red P. I'll make a prediction on this one. I think this is going to turn into a metallic vanilla and shortbread and nothing else. This is a great Powers red label. Powers, not red label, gold label. Red label. Thinking of that Red P. Powers Gold Label is a really, really good, underappreciated budget Irish. This is about the same price as Jameson, and to my taste, is much better. To me, if you like standard Jameson, you would really like Powers Gold Label. And if you like Powers Gold Label, you would definitely like this bottle here, this Roe & Co. This is Roe. Oh God, this is a uncomfortable position to hear. This one here is the Roe & Co. This is a blended malt and grain Irish. I don't know what this is. I don't know what the mash bill is on this one, but this is a tremendous budget Irish. Tremendous. This, I believe you can pick up. Oh man, I never pay attention when I buy these super budget bottles like the Powers or the Row and Co. I don't pay a ton of attention to the price because they're cheap. I believe you can get this sub 30. And it's a delicious, stereotypical Irish. Neat anyways. It's all buttery, shortbread cookie, berry jams, all those stereotypical Irish notes. It's lightly floral. It's really great. It's not complex at all, but it's super easy to drink. On the rocks, on the nose, the shortbread cookie is super dominant. Does taste a bit washed out. A little bit. It's lower proof. 86, that's pretty low proof for a whiskey. The metallic vanilla is there. There's a bit of caramel sweetness to it. The buttery shortbread, the butter is present. That shortbready cookie note is pushed back. The fruitiness is almost completely gone. Actually, that like raspberry jam note that I usually get out of this is more like an apple jelly. Apple jam, apple jelly, whatever. Apple preserve. Definitely better neat. But on a hot summer day, when I want a cool, refreshing drink, on the rocks, this is not bad, especially for the money. Especially if you poured like a tall pour with a rock in it. Let the whole pour cool off, and not. I mean, I'm pouring small pours, so they're diluting faster and more. But with a big pour, say you were having a cookout and you poured a big one to enjoy for a while. This would be a great choice for the summer, for like a hot day, to be honest with you. Wouldn't be my first choice, but if I was in the mood for something in this flavor profile, I would definitely go for this. This is very simple, very light, but it's good. It's very good. Makes me wonder though. This ice cube's almost gone. I'm gonna have to in this fucking dump glass. It's a lot of melted ice though. So before you freak out, look at the color. It looks like a beer. It's mostly melted ice. I'm curious. Let me get a new ice cube here. The last cube. I didn't think I would go through this whole thing, but I changed up cubes more frequently than I thought. I have over here somewhere a Jameson Black Barrel or whatever it's called. Jameson Black Barrel. And this is, so traditionally with Irish whiskeys, they are aged in ex-bourbon barrels. And with those ex-bourbon barrels, what you get is every time you add a whiskey to a barrel, you reduce the influence the barrel makes on the whiskey, because it's the char and whatnot gets diluted, gets rinsed out as the whiskey ages and gets dumped. With Black Barrel, it's ex-bourbon barrels, but they have recharred them. So if you haven't seen what that process looks like, they take a barrel with no head on it, flip it upside down over a big torch, and they char the inside. So they re-char the inside of an ex-bourbon barrel, which gives this a much more character. Ooh, hiccups. Much more char and oak character than you get out of a typical Irish. I like this a ton more than the typical Jameson, although actually, depending on where you buy, in some places this is like $4 a bottle more than regular Jameson, always worth that. In some places it's like $20 a bottle more, not worth that difference. Definitely better than Jameson traditional though. Let this cool off. Dilute a little bit, but not too much. It's a delicate balance. This is definitely my last one for the night, because I am falling asleep. Which you can probably tell because the energy is dropping. So much vanilla. So much vanilla on this. Wow, that's shocking how much vanilla it is. Vanilla, butter, no shortbread, no fruit. Better than the Powers. Not enough. I mean, this is easily $15 to $20 more than the Powers. If you're gonna drink it neat, definitely worth it. If you're gonna drink it on the rocks, not justifiable. It is nice on the rocks, but it loses so much complexity on the rocks that I don't think you can justify spending the extra money to buy it when Powers is so on the rocks is so close to this and drastically cheaper. Alright, I think we're gonna call it there. I'm gonna go have a slice of pizza. Oof, Jesus. I'm gonna go have a couple of slices of pizza and go to bed and sleep until Monday, when I will wake up, take care of my weekly duties, and then go back to working life. I'll work all the time. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, right? Well, this motherfucker dull. Thank you everybody for stopping in. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment, leave 4 comments, leave 20 comments. I don't give a shit. Leave as many comments as you have time for. The comments make a big difference. Like the video. Podcast will be out. A new podcast episode will be out on... Man, I think there's a new one coming out Wednesday, but I'm not 100% sure because my grasp of time has shifted lately with all the work. I don't know. Episode Wednesday, I believe. Monday if you're a patron. What else? Film appraisers. We're taking a slight short hiatus because schedules just don't line up, but there's some great episodes come out recently, so check that out. That is at filmappraisers.com, barrelhousepodcast.com to check out all of this stuff besides the live stream, the podcast, the merch. Speaking of merch, there is a merch sale going on right now. If you want to be a sexy motherfucker, you can buy a shirt, hoodie, phone case, notebook, onesie, I think, even. barrelhousepodcast.com/merch will bring you to the place. It's like, I think there's a 35% off sale right now. Check it out. I think that's all my plugs. These are all the plugs I got right now. Thank you so much for stopping by. I cannot wait to see you all again very soon. Until I do, drink whiskey, be merry, and take care. Slanjava.